I didn't know anything about this drug. It didn't even exist when I graduated school. How did I go on platforms like the Diamond and Silk Show the very next week? We bring this up, and I'm educating the whole world about this drug. And then everybody's calling me, wanting on their shows to talk about, oh my God, it's another drug made by venom. I didn't even know it was made from venom. I guarantee you all the medical professionals are like this. Oh my God, is he going to quit with the venom already? I didn't know it was venom. I didn't even want to know it was venom. Anybody overweight, I'm going to tell you right now, anybody overweight and diabetic, y'all need to go to the deserts of Arizona and New Mexico and find these little ugly lizards and let it bite you. That's what they're telling you. Or you can pay medical doctors and pharmacists to give it to you in a little shot, and you can inject it into yourself voluntarily.
It sounds ridiculous.
But I didn't see it on my prescription note from my pharmacist on all these side effects that it listed. It didn't say, have you ever been bit by a Gila monster before? Side effects may include. Oh my God, seriously, let it go. All right, we're going to go to lunch. This is an example of us learning. We just ask the questions, and we want to teach you how to be researchers so you can learn for yourself.
One announcement. Hey, listen up, everybody. First of all, listen up. When you hear the music playing, that's your cue to come back in. We're about to get started. Can I get an amen? Amen. And now, can we give it up for Dr. Ed Group? Oh, thank you. Everybody go eat. Do some deep breaths before you eat. Get in that parasympathetic state, and we'll see you back this afternoon. Thank you.
I don't know about y'all, but I learned something. Did y'all know for every one soda, you have to drink 24 glasses of water to offset that? Did y'all know that? Do you know that when I was 14 years old, I was at a basketball tournament with a friend at a Ardis in Georgia. And I had a root beer, and I sipped it. And the very first drink, it goes down in my stomach. You ever had soda, and then it like belches back up and rips your esophagus apart? That's what happened to me. And I looked at my friend, and I shoved him the drink. He was like 13. I passed it to him, and I said, you can have that. I'm never drinking another soda the rest of my life. And he goes, you're such a weird kid. He grabs it and just starts drinking it. This is not a joke I said. No, this is not a joke I said. I think my body's trying to reject this like a smoker for the first time when they take a puff and they start coughing it back up. It feels like my body's rejecting the soda after I got it down in my stomach. It's like, get it back out. Well, now you know why. Carbon dioxide's poisonous to you. Your body exhales it for a reason. It's a waste product. All right. Hi.
Hi.
Are you going to say something different about root beer?
I'm going to introduce Ed.
Oh, rock and roll. All right. Everybody get in your seats.
You ready?
Jana's not as intense as me, vocally, but she's powerful. All right, I'm going to step off.
All right, great. Everybody take your seats and get ready to take lots of good notes. And remember, all the slides and all of our presentations you will get emailed to, so if you miss something, don't worry about it. So this next speaker, this is Dr. Ed Group. He is a brilliant researcher. He's a world-renowned health advisor, amazing natural healing coach. And there's so many things that we love about Dr. Group, but I am so impressed with his attention to detail and quality when it comes to natural products. He is bringing you the best of the best of the best. He is incredibly dedicated to his family and bringing you the best that he can possibly bring. So please welcome Dr. Ed Group, Understanding Your Body's Self-Healing Mechanisms. Yay!
You're on the front row, on this far left side. That row. Oops.
We're still waiting on some people coming in. It's so awesome to be here, especially in the time that we're in right now, because it's like, it's time to make the decision to take care of your own health. And that's
more important than anything else that anybody can be thinking about right now, especially, I learned that over the last 4 weeks when we were putting all these pieces together of how they're orchestrating people's lives and bioweapons and metals and everything else. So I'm really glad that when Dr. Ardis put this team together, he structured it the way he did, so today we can talk about really understanding your body and how your self-healing mechanism works, because what led me here was my research that I was doing in 1995, when there was no cell phones and there was no internet or anything like that, and I was part of a research team that was looking for the root cause of cancer. What we found was the root cause of all disease, and I'm also all about simplicity, so today I really want to talk about the simplicity and how your body works and the unknowns also. And you've heard me talking about the energy and the vibration. When we're in school, even all the schooling I went through, nobody taught me about energy and vibration. But ultimately, everything is in energy and vibration. So as I'm talking through my presentation today, just understand that everything that we're talking about affects your energy and your vibration. And it lowers or suppresses your body's self-healing mechanism. So here's a little bit about what happened. From Christ to the 1600s, the mission of science, this was before, obviously, any type of modern era, before pharmaceuticals, was to gain an understanding of the natural order, the way we're supposed to interact with the energies of the earth, God's medicine, nature's medicine, so we can live in harmony. Harmony is balance. Disharmony is what they're doing through all of their vectors that we're being exposed to all the time. But then, living in harmony doesn't really create demand or control or money or anything like that. So then comes the scientific revolution to 1643. And that was the start of man-made science. That's when they said nature had to be bound into service and made a slave. Now, I could argue that in certain ways we've also been made slaves since the scientific revolution and dependent on many types of systems and other things. But she was to be put in constraint, and the aim of the scientists was to torture nature's secrets from her. That was from Francis Bacon. The new mission statement of science from 1643 to the present is to obtain knowledge that can be used to dominate and control nature, and you are considered part of nature as well. This is all about control and domination. So right now, there's two ways to look at it. Modern medicine will tell you that an organism is controlled from inside of your cell, that the genes control the organism, and heredity passes the traits. If your mom had cancer, you're going to have cancer. I don't know if, 10 years ago, women were going out getting double mastectomies because there was so much fear that they were going to get cancer as a preventative, when that's not even what causes cancer to begin with. So they've structured this belief system that what our parents had is what's going to cause us. Now, you do have some genetic traits, but that's not what actually causes the disruptions in your energy field and your destruction of your self-healing mechanism that God created. The natural medicine, what we're talking about, is that an organism is in harmony with or controlled from outside of the cell, and that the environment dictates what the harmony or disharmony that we have. This is the basis of natural medicine versus man-made medicine. It's genetic adaptation, and all of the research that we've done that I'm going to show you today will clearly show that all disease, and this was the result of our research papers in 1995. The root cause of cancer and the root cause of all disease and all symptoms is a toxic external environment, a disharmonious external environment, and a toxic disharmonious internal environment. That's it. I mean, that's really the basis of every condition that we suffer from. And Dr. Bruce Lipton was really a pioneer at presenting all of this research, because with natural medicine, talking about damaging or poisoning our body, mind, and soul from the external environment, where genes get the signals from outside of the cells, versus modern medicine that says genes get signals from inside of the cells. So basically, they take the natural order and they just flip it. And you don't really have to show me on the screens if you don't want to. You can show the slides. And that all the commands and the body functioning is determined by the energetic reading of the environment. That's the natural way. Because we are a biofield, we are energy, we are vibrations. That's why we can feel people's emotions and they affect us, or that we can feel the plants, or we feel so good when we're outside and we're grounding because we're connected. We're all connected, actually. So the natural way is that our body reacts to what's in our external environment, and then our body reacts to what's in the internal environment. And that is what dictates the genes and dictates, are we regenerating or are we degenerating every single day? So it's from outside to inside, versus modern medicine, which all commands and the body and mechanics start in the nucleus, and that the genes control the organism from the inside out. So what I would say, the way that we broke this down for everybody is, and the reason it's so important to understand this is because us docs that have counseled thousands and thousands of people over the years, millionaires, billionaires, Hollywood stars, and even had people come into our offices that had been seen by 10 or 15 of the top natural doctors in the world. And then they walk in your office with bags full of supplements in their hands, and you're asking them what, and they have this whole list of symptoms that they've been trying to deal with. And we would always ask them, okay, so you have migraine headaches, you have arthritis, you have this, you have lupus, you have autoimmune disease. Okay, let's just stop right here, sit down, take a deep breath, relax. Explain to me why you have autoimmune disease. Explain to me why you have migraine headaches. Explain to me why you have these conditions. And still to this day, it fascinates me that nobody can explain why they have the symptoms or the conditions that they have. So we would let them talk, which is also the first step of the healing process and the first step of understanding who you really are and the power that you really have within you is education. The fear comes when you don't know, or there is no knowing of how you're going to get better. So we would let them talk, and the healing process actually starts at that point in time, because we become talkers and not, doctors have become talkers and not listeners. The average time spent with a physician is less than 7 minutes. And I studied this over the years because I learn a lot from listening. That's how we really learn a lot as really good doctors, which the definition of a doctor in our mind is a teacher, not a prescriber, is to listen to people. And I can't tell you how many times I've sat there for an hour and a half, listened to somebody and just say, just tell me everything. And you can see their body energy shift, and maybe they cry for a little while, they laugh for a little while, And then they'll say, you're the first person that actually listened to me. I've been trying to tell my story for 10, 15 years to all these doctors, and no one's ever listened to me. And that's mindfulness. That's mindfulness right there, being mindful of somebody when you're there to be in their energy field and to feel their emotions and to feel their energy and connect with them. And that's a big, big part of the first step of the healing process, or the first step of reactivating your body's own self-healing mechanism. And then we would say, well, since nobody else explained to you why you have migraines and arthritis and all this stuff, how would you feel if we explain that to you? And that's step 2. Once you understand why you have the symptoms, first of all, you've created that relationship with that individual, and they feel for the first time that someone's listening to them. And then you're actually teaching them why they have the condition that they have. And that's where it gets into the external and the internal environment, which we're going to talk about today, and how that affects you emotionally, physically, and spiritually. And then, of course, the next stage after that is to detoxify. And so what we'll do, I'm going to basically go over that presentation that we would go over for the last 25 years with everybody. Because we've gone, unfortunately, from an 8th grade education around the world to roughly a 4th grade education around the world. Now that was strategically designed as well. Everything's been engineered from the education system, the monetary system, the political system. Everything has been engineered for division, for stress, for anxiety, for disease, you name it. But we're going to unravel all that and then give everybody solutions. So what really causes disease is the alterations in your energy field and your cellular function from the internal and the external environment. Toxic air, food, beverages, heavy metals, electromagnetic radiation, prescription medications, physical and emotional stress. The big one is the parasitical infestation, which I'm going to be talking about that more tomorrow, of how they've gotten us addicted to sugar and alcohol and bread and all these things, and got us full of all kinds of yeast and bacteria and worms and all kinds of parasites that they can use inside of our bodies for multiple different things, for poisoning us from the internal environment. And then the negative belief patterns, which they also have manipulated and engineered. You believe that you can't heal yourself, that you have to go to a doctor. And it's good to go to a natural doctor. I'm not saying just don't, because it's good to have somebody that can hold your hand and walk you through this whole process. It's always good to have a coach or some expert that you can learn from all the time. But the ultimate goal is for you to feel confident enough of understanding why you have symptoms and disease, so you can then get rid of it in a very easy way. And then you can take charge of your own life, and you feel confident, you don't have any fear and anxiety. All of these negative belief patterns, all of this your blocked elimination routes. People aren't sweating as much anymore. They're not having bowel movements as much anymore. And the toxic water they're consuming, which water is in everything. All that combined, and all the stuff we're going to be talking about combined, is doing nothing but lowering your vibrational frequency. And tomorrow I'm going to be talking about how all of this has come together to the last part of the puzzle of the transhumanism agenda. That's a weird word to say, transhumanism. But it's something that we have to talk about, because we have to talk about all this, because once you understand it, then it's going to be, you understand how you can combat it. There's also, there's always the good and the bad. There's good car mechanics, there's bad car mechanics. There's good doctors, there's bad doctors. That's the yin and the yang of the balance of the energy of this planet, is that we always have good and evil, or we have good and bad. So regardless of what all we're talking about today and tomorrow, just know that there's a lot of good that's also working. It's not just all bad, because you hear a lot of people out there right now saying, we're doomed and this is it and everything like that, and let's not make it doom and gloom. We're always about solutions. We're just like, okay, they're doing that, okay. I mean, I spent like at least a year just looking at their lipid nanoparticle hydrogel technology, what they're doing. You have to like figure out what they're doing so then you can counteract it by doing something else. Okay, so I'm going to talk a little bit about water and how important it is, because water is an electrical. It is how your body's cells communicate electronically with signals. It's how your body reacts to different types of external signals, thoughts, words, TVs, EMFs, etc. But your water changes constantly within your system. All living things are at least 75% water. And all of these, toxins and chemicals and all this other stuff alter the water in your system. And it was awesome when Masaru Emoto came out with his research on water and the structure of water. And thank God there's more and more people that are coming out with water technology. And also in the last 3 years, I started pulling up all these books that were burned and you couldn't even find. It seems most of the doctors, the natural doctors, and even MDs, believe it or not, I even have articles from the American Medical Association and all kinds of research that was done from 1869 to around 1929 are really the beginning stages of the AMA. Okay, there were doctors in the early 1900s that had over 40,000 case studies of eliminating practically every condition that they were seeing back then using water only to do it. But they were using specific types of water, and water can hold, actually, especially if you do triple distilled biophotonic type water, you can even hold sound and light frequencies in water as well. So how do you think this is going to affect your body every single day? Masaru Emoto, a perfect crystalline structure of water is what all of the water molecules in our system should look like. This slide over here on the left. When you contaminate water in your body, it doesn't reform the crystals. These are basically crystal semiconductors that can communicate. Because our cells communicate. Actually, if you look at a cell, one cell, it's very similar to everything you do. Like you breathe, right? Your cell breathes. You manufacture energy with exercise. Your cell manufactures energy. Your cell goes to the bathroom even, just like you go to the bathroom. So all of the cells in our body make the whole, but the cells need to communicate back and forth to each other. And how they do it is the extracellular fluid, or the interstitial fluid, and even the intracellular fluid, anywhere there's water in the body. And that's why our water is actually kind of close to seawater. We have the proper ratio of minerals as well. It's just very electric. We're electromagnetic beings. So this is what happens when you start putting chemicals and toxins from the food and the beverages and the stuff that we've been led to believe is actually healthy for us. So then he said, well, we know that words and thoughts are energetic patterns. Those can be measured with EEGs and different types of equipment. So I wonder if the words can make a difference on the water structure. So these were vials, actually, and so he put "you make me sick, I will kill you" on one, and then he put "thank you" on the other one, on the other vial, and you can see that just positive words can change the structure of the water within your body. That's why it's so important to be having gratitude and thanks and and trying to live in a very positive state and say positive things out of your mouth all the time instead of think about, all of the music and all of the negative things that they say on the news all day long, and people in even sometimes your friends and family members that are, just complaining and whining and criticizing and all that. Now that's also engineered. If they do things and show you things enough, then you end up doing it. That's part of Edward Bernays and some of these propaganda scientists on how to manipulate and control people's mind and body and soul that they've been implementing in little bitty pieces to where you don't even really know what's going on until they have the control over you. So sound. Oh, I don't know what happened there. Okay, thoughts. Before offering a prayer, there was a really dirty pond I think it was in Japan. And so this is what the water structure looked like before they prayed over the water. After they prayed over the water and gave it positive thoughts, the water instantaneously changed within a minute or so from that to the beautiful crystalline structure. That's what the water should look like in our body at all times. Now, this was the most shocking experiment that Masaru Emoto ever did. And this was the one thing that he couldn't find a solution for, except if you're completely not being exposed at all to radio frequency, microwave radiation, which has just gone up and up and up and up. We're all exposed to it all the time. When he put the water by the TV, it was broken, but it was vibrating. And as long as the EMFs or the harmful, let's just say harmful frequencies were in touch with the water, it would not repair itself. And this is ultimately, when you really break everything down that these individuals are doing, it all comes down to an attack on your biofield and on your energetics through synthetic biology. And they've been doing this for quite some time without us even knowing. This is the invisible biowarfare, because you can't see it, you can't touch it, and you can't feel it. So it's very stealth. But it has huge implications on your happiness, your health, everything. So I was taught that drinking distilled water was bad for you when I was in school and when I was in chiropractic college and naturopathic college. But then I started looking a little bit more deeper into it because of the research we were doing on water and how powerful water was. And about a year ago, looking at who owned all the bottled water companies and why are they buying up all the bottled water companies? That's just really strange, So, and they even right down from where our farm is in Texas was where Ozarka was bottling their water. And so we actually tap into the same spring from our farm that they're using. So they actually tried to come buy our farm from us. They're trying to grab all the water. Now, I want to tell everybody the difference between organic versus inorganic minerals. This is another stealth thing, and minerals are charges. You either have a positive charge or a negative charge. All the bottled water that comes from springs out there has inorganic minerals in it. When you cook your food, you change the organic minerals from organic to inorganic. And you can pull up even the doctors in the early 1900s that were doing autopsies on people that lived and drank spring water, and they had petrified organs. So they're slowly turning us to stone by the consumption of too many inorganic minerals in our body and not enough organic minerals in our bodies. As the plants take up the inorganic minerals from the soil, they convert them to organic minerals for use in our body. Right now, with the standard American diet, which is prevalent all over the world, about 98% of all the minerals people are consuming every single day through bottled water, through energy drinks, through cooked foods, microwaved foods, about 98% of the minerals that people are consuming are inorganic. What happens in the body when you consume that many inorganic minerals? It throws off your pH completely. And there are two ways that our body uses to actually convert inorganic minerals to organic minerals. First step is with the acid. That's how you have to break down an inorganic mineral, with the acid in your stomach. And the liver can use the hydrochloric acid in your stomach, and then your liver is the second place that can break down inorganic minerals. Well, what's happened over the last 30, 40 years? If you're a natural health care practitioner, you can pretty much, every natural health care practitioner I know of will tell you roughly probably 90% of the people that are sick or more have very little hydrochloric acid in their stomach because they've burned out their cells that produce hydrochloric acid. Or they're just eating, over time, it burns it out. So most people have very, very low hydrochloric acid levels in their stomach. And the second place is the liver. Okay, I personally have done so much research on the liver because we have a liver cleanse program, and we're able to monitor that for the last 20 years and look at anecdotal evidence of over 2 million liver cleanses that people have done. And I can honestly say that probably right now on the planet, most people's livers are not functioning above 15% because of the amount of toxicity and garbage and fats and everything that's happening in the liver. So that led me back to saying, well, distilled water is great because it's going to leach. I was taught it's going to leach all the minerals from your body. You always have to look at the things that they are saying that are bad for you and don't believe what they're saying, but do your own research. I was able to pull a massive amount of research up on the benefits of distilled water. God only produces distilled water, by the way. The rain is distilled water, and the vegetables and the fruits have and contain distilled water. So in 1893, this was from Dr. Arthur Reynolds, was the health commissioner of Chicago in 1893. He said, generous liberations of pure distilled water is a most potent agent to bowels. The disease caused by impure water are numerous and fatal. Water is so essential. The right kind of water for you to drink is so essential. And then we have Tesla in 1935. Only a lunatic will drink unsterilized water. When asked about his predictions for the next 100 years. Next, we have Alexander Graham Bell. I thought if I drank plenty of distilled water, I might get rid of some of the salts that were covering my sciatic nerves. And by the way, all of these minerals and all these chemicals, they calcify everywhere inside your body, including all the synthetic ones like calcium fluoride and all the fluoride and brominated compounds and stuff like that. So he said I might get rid of some salts that were covering my sciatic nerves. I tried drinking it, and it worked like a charm. Within a short time, my sciatica left me, and I have been free of rheumatism from that day to this. I kept up my drinking of distilled water, and I attribute my almost perfect health largely to it. Distilled water is also the best water for the conductivity once it gets into the body. Jack Bell from the American Medical Association, I found this, which I absolutely could not believe, in 1985, to the best of our knowledge, there would not be any adverse effects from the continued ingestion of distilled water, who is the assistant director of the AMA. You can't just find this stuff either. You have to dig deep for it. 1899, any amount of it may be taken into the system without fear of detrimental results. Physicians know it is the best solvent of inorganic concretions in the body. Another thing that we're trying to tell you guys or teach is that the most powerful healing agents out there don't cost a lot of money. You already have them through prayer, meditation, sleep, grounding, drinking the right type of water. You might nowadays you have to spend a little bit of time and effort to make sure that these are pure and natural. But really, we're trying to get back to the original design of who we are and how we're all supposed to love one another and be thriving, happy and healthy and thriving, instead of obese, sick, and unhealthy. Pure water, well corked, never gets stale. That was from Dr. Homer Wakefield in Illinois, and the article was Pure Water, Not a Poison. There are hundreds of case histories of people who have enjoyed success in alleviating or overcoming these health problems: arthritis, heart disease, high blood pressure, hardening of the arteries, kidney stones, gallstones, cataracts, when they began drinking distilled water exclusively. This guy was the associate professor at Lee College in Cleveland, Tennessee. What we're talking about this weekend, there was already groups of doctors that were talking about this between 1869 and 1920. Which, by the way, people ask me, well, what about all the people that used to go soak in the springs and they would get healed and they drink the mineral water coming out of the springs? So there's a use for that too. There's a healing use for that. It's not the minerals in the springs, the inorganic minerals in the springs that are healing you, though. It's the archaea organisms. They have in the ocean, for example, even in lava. These are archaea, natural, eukaryotic organisms that are supposed to be in our body. And that's why people that went to go soak in the springs years ago and drink the spring water, they would only drink it for a week or two, and then they would leave and they would be healed. So we have lots of good bacteria and good microorganisms also. It's not, a parasite is a harmful organism, but we also have very beneficial organisms that work with us too, on our skin, all over and everywhere in our whole body. Okay, Job, which is the oldest book of the Bible, Job 36, 27, 28, says, God took up the water, distilled it, and poured it out abundantly on man. The logical argument is, who knows better what we need than the Creator? And He gave us distilled water. That was, God and nature gives us everything we need. It's man and scientism that has come in. Remember? Torture nature's secrets from her and tries to engineer us and society all for basically control and dominion. Water hardness, inorganic minerals in solution, is the underlying cause of many, if not all, of the disease resulting from poisons in the intestinal tract. These hard minerals pass from the intestinal walls and get into the lymphatic system, which delivers all of its products to the blood, which in turn distributes to all parts of the body. This is the cause of much human disease, the water. Water hardness is inorganic minerals in solution. When these minerals enter the intestines in drinking water, there is an immediate reaction between them to the fats, oils, and fatty acids present, causing precipitation of inorganic calcium, magnesium, iron, and so on to form new insoluble compounds. And guess who said that? Have you heard of the Mayo Clinic? That actually was from Dr. Charles Mayo, who started the Mayo Clinic, which got converted over time into more medical and more medical and more medical. This talk today is supposed to be about understanding your anatomy and understanding how your self-healing mechanism works and to empower you. But to understand, I'm going to talk a little bit about the liver and some of the organs. But to really understand the human anatomy, you have to understand it from an energetic standpoint. And you have to understand that inorganic minerals will they raise your vibrational frequencies or will they lower your vibrational frequencies? Everything that you look at, that you touch, that you eat, if you just ask the question, will this raise my vibrational frequencies or will this lower my vibrational frequencies? And ultimately, everything in your life, every single thing is a decision. Because like I said, I'm all about simplicity. So how do you break it down in the simplest manner? Am I going to go to breakfast and eat that bacon, egg, and cheese muffin? Or am I going to have a piece of fruit which contains living organic minerals, water, nutrients, living fiber that's going to raise my vibrational frequencies? Am I going to hang out with that person or not hang out with that person if they're draining my energy from me? So ultimately, it's just if you can start making better decisions about everything and understanding and educating, that's where it all starts. It's not easy, okay? It's not easy. If it was easy, everybody would be doing it because we've been so ingrained over and over again. I love pizza, but I'm gluten-free, so it's hard for me to eat pizza, so I have to try to find some cauliflower crust pizza or something and then try to ask if it's organic or whatever. And sometimes I'll be, usually just wanting to get a salad if I'm eating out somewhere, which, by the way, it's super hard to get really good organic food, as you know, at any restaurants these days. But I have to say, it's still a challenge of going, oh, should I get that pizza or should I get that salad? And then I have to remind myself, that's a decision. Am I going to make the right decision or the decision that raises my vibrational frequency or lower? Now, I don't believe in extremism. So I teach the 90-10 rule or even the 80-20 rule. If you make 8 out of 10 decisions, you can still have the pizza or whatever. Right now, out of every 100 decisions that people are making in the world right now, they're probably making 1 out of every 100 decisions. You make multiple decisions all day long. Am I going to go to the gym and work out today? Nah, I don't feel like it. I'm just going to finish watching that series on TV that I was watching. If you just start paying attention and being mindful of how your mind works and how your body works and disconnecting from the matrix and coming back into your own vibrations and energy, and then as long as you're slowly starting to make better decisions, even once you get to 6 out of 10 decisions, you're still going to be improving and you're going to be raising your vibrational frequencies. I know because I locked myself in a room for a year and I was celibate because I wanted to see what would happen. We always try everything on ourselves first before we recommend it. Some things work, some things don't. I almost killed myself one time by seeing how much hydrogen peroxide I can inhale through a nebulizer. That didn't work out too well. But I did learn a valuable lesson from I feel bad for my wife. She had to endure all that for a year, being celibate and being on raw foods and in meditation and prayer for a year. It definitely did have some benefits, but it also taught me that we have to live in this world. You can't, the more things you restrict or the more things you try to just say, I'm going to do this and not anything else, there has to be balance. And that's another thing that is really important that we've all noticed in the questions that we've asked individuals that we've talked to. Okay, tell me about your work life. Tell me about your relationship life. Tell me about you have to create a balance between your spiritual life, your personal life, your work life, and your relationship life, with your friends and everything else. It's okay to be focused on one for a little while, but you really need to be able to balance those things out, because that can cause disharmony if you're not balancing out all of these energy and systems that you really need to thrive. Good relationships you thrive off of. Good relationship with God you thrive off of. A good relationship with yourself. See, they've taken that and tried to remove that from you. How much time are you spending doing personal development every single day or once or twice a week, trying to better yourself? If all aspects that they've created and they've engineered have been to degenerate our body, mind, and soul instead of regenerate our body, mind, and soul. So where are we getting all these chemicals and toxins from in the water? Right now, the whole planet is pretty much corrupted with chemicals, the water in the streams. They even tested for mercury levels in fish in the highest mountain levels of Alaska, all over the world, and they're still finding these chemicals in the water supply, and it gets into the animals, and it gets into the soil and everything else. They've also engineered us, society, to hate drinking water. How many people have you talked to and you've asked them, how much water do you drink? And they're like, I can't stand drinking water. Oof, yeah, no, I drink tea and coffee. That has water. They're not going to teach you what's the most important things to be putting in your body. They're going to deter you away from that. That's why they created alcohol and sodas and, different types of toxic teas. And they even take natural stuff and contaminate it. And dumping fluoride and chemicals and prescription drug residue. Think of all the people that are on medications and they go to the bathroom. Where do you think all that goes? If you haven't seen Mike Adams' Biosludge movie, you should definitely watch that. Because it ends up getting recycled right back into compost and fertilizer and everything else. And some of these chemicals have 1,000-year, 10,000-year half-lives. They're there forever. So all of these things are coming back into the system. There's parasites, harmful organisms in the water. There's bacteria. There's all kinds of heavy metals in the water. There's fluoride. Brominated compounds, what we've been finding over the last probably 5 years, are just as damaging, if not more damaging, than the fluoridated compounds. Brominated compounds are everywhere. They really try hard, to take away your connection with each other and with your own self. The kingdom of heaven is within, and the pineal gland is a major organ. Did you guys know that? How many have heard that you actually have a crystal inside of your pineal gland? Oh, cool. That's awesome. Your pineal gland has a crystal, which is obviously made by God, that creates a higher level of awareness or enlightenment through prayer and through surrender and through love for the Creator. And they've actually done studies on priests and spiritual leaders when they've died, and they found that their crystals can be up to 10, 15, 20 times bigger than normal people. So they know that. I'm not going to go into the whole story about how they try to suppress your relationship with God by using these compounds. These studies were done in the 40s, actually, in concentration camps in Germany, and they found that fluoride, for example, with the aluminum industry and all that other stuff, they needed to do something, because it's like the second or third most toxic compound known to man. But if they put it in your system, it dumbs you down, makes you non-aggressive, and makes you easily controllable. Basically zombified. I mean, with the combination of everything else, it lowers your IQ, and it's also an endocrine disrupting chemical, which can affect your fertility, your menstrual cycles, your hormones, everything. So Dr. Ely is going to show you how to create the best type of water, but it's really important to just take a close look. I mean, the water, best if you can afford it, to get a water purification system for your home, for your whole house. A lot of people, I tell them, if you have any of you read the ingredients in your laundry detergent and fabric softeners? Have you looked up how toxic those ingredients actually are? What about your dishwashing detergent that you're washing your dishes with? You can take your plates out of your dishwasher, let them dry, and scrape with a razor blade off some powder, the residue from your dishwashing detergent. These are all surfactants. These are all chemicals that can create and lower your vibrational frequencies. So you don't have to do this all at once, but it's very important for you to really, really focus on the water. Now, you can get shower heads. One of the beautiful things is we're going to be giving you all this information. We're going to be posting all of our research so you can see what we're doing, what we're looking at, and how you can improve your life with these type of recommendations and research. And by the way, it's not just us. We're calling out for help for everybody at this point in time. Because what we're going to share with you tomorrow, it's like the time is now. So it's like we all need to come together and we all need to collaborate and we all need to help each other out. If you know of, we don't even have relationships set up with any of the vendors that we're recommending, because people were like, oh, there's just going to be another conference. They're going to come up there and start talking about all their products and stuff. It's not about that. It's about teaching you how to take control of your own health. Products are great, but avoiding the things. And we're about addressing the root cause. The root cause is the chemicals you're getting from your laundry detergent, your water in your house, the showers that you're taking, 1 15-minute hot shower. When your skin cells open up, can be the equivalent of 4 to 6 glasses of tap water that you're drinking, with the absorption of different types of chemicals and stuff like that. We're even finding Mike Adams, I was talking to, there, you could even find radiation in some water. I mean, that's crazy. So anyway, whole house system if possible, that'll take care. There are shower filters you can put on there. Drink distilled water 80% of the time if you can. You can get a countertop distiller for like $300 on Amazon. Then we run the distiller through a specific system that we've been working on, which Dr. Ely is going to talk about. If you do want some organic minerals in your distilled water, like let's say you're an athlete and you want to just hydrate, then squeeze a lemon in there. Lemon's one of the most powerful anionic fruits that God has given us. Energy. Energy is in living foods. You can mix a little organic apple cider vinegar in there if you want, a little sea salt. We're actually doing testing right now to test different clays. Do you know that you've heard people talk about probiotics? You need prebiotics and other stuff. But what you're not hearing a lot of people talk about is the archaea organisms, which I mentioned earlier, these are highly, highly beneficial organisms that are found even in lava. They can survive lava. And so good salts actually contain archaea. Even if the salt is mostly inorganic minerals, they still contain archaea. And archaea organisms have survived for forever. They're found in water. They're found in clays. They're found in salt. They're found in lava. So you can put a little, you can put some of that in there if you want some extra minerals or some archaea organisms. Okay, so this is a very simple way for everybody to understand exactly why they have conditions that they have. I put these numbers on here. It's not correct. Sometimes it might be more, it might be less. But let's just assume that every day you're taking in 200,000 chemicals and toxins from the air, 200,000 from the food, 200,000 from the water, 200,000 from the beverages, the microbes and the parasites, which, by the way, die in your system. They secrete venomous secretions into your system every single day. The physical and emotional stress, which causes your body to produce its own toxins. The ELF, RF, EMF cell damage, which damages the cells. The heavy metals that you're taking in. The drugs, any type of bioweapon stuff. And the blocked neurological feedback systems, because that's where we get into what Dr. Jana was talking about, the chiropractic care. If you've had any auto accidents, you sleep the wrong way. Okay, we have blocked neurological feedback systems because our spine is not, or just our nerves are not functioning, right? Our nerves are electricity as well. And so we need the proper type of ionic, anionic, energetic minerals in our systems for everything to flow the way it's supposed to flow. So let's just say you had every single day you're bringing in 2.1 million toxins. And this is where everybody's different. You might be able to handle 2 million chemicals on a daily basis. Eventually, it's going to catch up to you. Some people might only be able to handle 1 million toxins every day on a daily basis. I mean, I see people putting like 4 bags of NutraSweet in their coffee. I'm like, oh my gosh, 1 bag alone has over 10,000 chemical toxic molecules in it. Oh, there's 30,000 chemicals, toxins you just put in your coffee. So it's an accumulation of all these chemicals and toxins day after day after day after day that start reducing your energy. Let's see if I can go back here. So all of this is suppressing your biofield, your energetics, and it's suppressing the most important and most powerful healing agent that we all have already inside of us, that God gave us, which is our own self-healing mechanism. Doctors, as we were doing this research, then we said, okay, so if how are these toxins getting in the body? Why are they not being broken down? This is what led us to the next phase. Okay, so it's pretty simple, right? If you have 2 million something toxins coming into your system every single day, I mean, the obvious solution is to start detoxifying and then not putting them into your system. Very simple. So we started tracing all these things. And we found that 90% of these chemicals and toxins that you're being exposed to every single day are entering through your gut. Because we eat 10 times as much food than what the body actually needs to survive. 10 times as much. Which, by the way, your digestion takes the majority of the energy that's produced in your body every single day goes to digestion. That's why we shouldn't be eating so much. I would say 3 or 4 meals a day, and you've just wiped out all the energy creation that you can create inside your body just for digestion alone. So we started looking at, okay, they enter through the gut, okay, then most people have leaky gut that's going into their system, and then the liver needs to detoxify it. And then we started looking at all these other chemicals and heavy metals in the kidneys and the lymphatic system and how that all works, the detoxification pathways. But the strange thing that we noticed was, and still to this day, that big pharma and allopathic medicine doesn't teach doctors about, first of all, about all these chemicals and toxins. Second of all, they don't teach them about the gut, how to repair and heal the gut. I mean, I've had multiple conversations with gastroenterologists and asked them, they don't even know what the appendix is. I mean, they just say, take it out. The appendix is like the brain of your body, really. I mean, the Russian scientists figured that out a long time ago. It's your microcomputer relay station. That's why they say there's a gut-brain connection. Why wouldn't your microsystem computer why would it not be in the gut? That's the first exposure point to all this stuff coming in. It relays how many minerals are going here and what you have over here and what you have over there. Your appendix is about the size of your pinky finger, and it's located right at the junction of your large and small intestine. It's connected actually and can communicate with every single organ in the body. But what does allopathic medicine do? They just say, oh, you have appendicitis, let's take out your appendix. Again, not addressing the root cause. And now we have the future, which has been going on. I would say their plan came together somewhere around late 2018. They put the final pieces together. The first pandemic was nothing more than a test to see who would comply and to test different types of directed energy weapons on different populations in different spots. I'll go over that tomorrow. And so they have everything ready right now. So what they've done is not only have they attacked us with all these chemicals and all this other stuff, but now they're doing it with synthetic stuff. Synthetic parasites, have you ever heard of that? Self-replicating, self-organizing nanotechnology. I mean, it's come a long way just in the last 3 or 4 years. They've been working on this stuff for a long time, since the 60s. But now it's all coming together for them. And the last piece of the puzzle is to use synthetic compounds to basically take control over you. So just so everybody knows, when we're talking about the stomach, the liver's right here, like Dr. Janet was saying. Your digestive system or your gut really starts in your mouth because you secrete enzymes here. And actually, when you look at food, this shows you how we're really energetic beings. Because when you look at food, it already starts activating all your digestive enzymes and everything in your system without you even eating it. And then it goes through the stomach, the pancreas, and the gallbladder. The pancreas secretes enzymes to help break down the food. The gallbladder. And then it goes into your small intestine, and then it goes into your large intestine, and then hopefully you're having multiple bowel movements. I put love your gut on there because really we need to start falling in love with God's creation, our body again, instead of especially I ask people that are sick or suffering, and they don't have really a good loving connection with their body. They almost blame their body for being sick instead of the things that they've been putting in their system. Just giving your gut and talking to your organs and putting those good vibrations in can do amazing things for your body. And the gut is also one of their main mechanisms of attack as well. Because they know 90% of the cells in your body are non-human cells, and 90% of those are located in your gut. And the other 7 or 8% of the non-human cells are everywhere in your body, from all the worms and the flukes and the mycoplasms and all the other organisms, most of them genetically engineered a long time ago. So your gut really is your main health organ in your body, because that's how you break everything down and that's how you distribute what your body needs to keep it healthy and keep it active. So then you have the peristaltic action. Peristaltic action is actually when the nerves, again, going back to the neurological system, to move the food down move the food out of your body and move it to different parts of your intestines for absorption of different nutrients and proteins, amino acids, everything else. But guess what? When you're under a state of stress, when you're in a sympathetic state, because you have a parasympathetic and a sympathetic state, when you're in a sympathetic state, a fight or flight response, which, by the way, most people, when they eat in a sympathetic state. Because they eat at their desk and they're looking at their emails. They eat while they're watching something on TV. They eat while they're getting triggered by social media. They eat in their car. We've gotten away from setting our food on a table, lighting a candle, taking deep breaths, focusing on our food and bringing ourselves down to a parasympathetic, relaxed state when we eat. Very important. When you eat, try to bring yourself into a relaxed state. One of the fastest ways is 9 deep breaths through the nose, in and out. That's been shown to bring you from a sympathetic state into a parasympathetic state. But when you're in a constant state of stress, your body cannot digest the food properly. So that food sits in your system and sits in your system and sits in your system, and then it starts to ferment. The fats turn rancid, the proteins turn putrefactic, and then you're poisoning, it turns into poisons inside your system, which then leak back into your bloodstream. And the fact that most people are not hydrated enough. And the antibiotics that are ruining the gut as well. Why would you knock out when you're exposed to an antigen or anything foreign, then your body produces antibodies to those antigens. When you have, that's another reason why I talk about urotherapy, is because you have those antigens in your urine. But antibiotics, it can take up to 8 months to completely repair your gut after one round of antibiotics. And half of the stuff they're trying to treat with the antibiotics. The reason why, by the way, they put you on antibiotics for 10 to 14 days is because they know the normal immune cycle for somebody it's different for different people, but for somebody who's, let's say, not really that healthy, they know that probably like 80-90% of the time that person's going to recover naturally anyway in 10 to 14 days, just because of the whole the antibody production and all that. And they're probably laying down. That's your body telling you to stop doing what you're doing with the fever and you feeling sick, that you need to rest. You need to get your energy back. Let your body heal. What happens to an animal when they get sick? They go find a tree somewhere and they lay down and they rest. And they fast, actually. They fast. They dry fast. And your body then, your body really kicks in your immune system too, which, by the way, fasting is also free. And fasting is one of the most powerful ways to regenerate and heal your body. All right. So all disease and all health starts in the gut. Not technically all of it, but a lot of it. People have leaky gut, constipation, inflammation, microbiome is off, heartburn, bloating. All of those are just symptoms of something going on inside your system from the internal or external environment. Now, the liver, what we're finding is that kids now, over the last 5 years, you can pull up the studies, kids 5 years old, 6 years old have non-fatty liver disease, fatty liver disease, cirrhosis. What I was saying earlier is the medical profession really has no tests for the gut. They don't have any tests for the liver. They don't have any tests for parasites. And they don't have any tests for chemicals and heavy metals. The 4 main things that are affecting us and affecting our health, they don't really have any tests for. I mean, yeah, they have some blood markers for liver, but that doesn't show you how many flukes you have in your liver. It doesn't show you how your phase 1 detoxification pathway is working, your phase 2 detoxification pathway is working. That's why people go to multiple physicians, and that's why they come see us. It's like, I went to all these doctors and no one can tell me what's wrong. Well, did they did you clean and heal? Did they clean and heal the gut? Did they clean and heal your liver? Did they clean all the parasites out of your body? Did they clean all the chemicals and heavy metals out of your body? No. So again, it's the difference between addressing the symptoms versus the root cause. All right, I'm going to start going a little bit faster because, I could sit up here and talk for 5 hours, but your liver I cannot say it enough how important it is to continually clean your liver. Your liver is what's really keeping and breaking down all these poisons and all these toxins and keeping you healthy. I've had reviewing over 1 million liver cleanses and seeing the transformational changes of people that have gone through multiple liver cleanses. And one liver cleanse, I like a modified version of Hulda Clark's with just more organic stuff in there. with the olive oil, or you can even use avocado oil if you don't like the olive oil. And we'll give you all this information. I've had so many people that have had so many issues, but once they clean and heal their gut and they do multiple liver cleanses, because what we figured out in our research is one liver cleanse really only cleans about 15% of the liver. And by the way, we tested a bunch of these other herbal liver cleanse programs out there. If you're not using the olive oil or the avocado oil, those cleanses only clean about 5 to 7% of your liver. So that's how important it is to add the avocado or the olive oil in when you're doing the liver cleansing. One liver cleanse, if you just assume your liver's functioning at 20%, one liver cleanse is going to bring it to 35. Next liver cleanse is going to bring it to 50. Next liver cleanse is going to bring it to 65. Next liver cleanse is going to bring it to 80. What we found is once your liver hits 80% or above, all your health, your symptoms, everything shifts. Of course, you still need to get rid of the parasites and all the other stuff. We had one gentleman that was sent home to die. They gave him 2 weeks to live, and he bought 2 or 3 liver cleanses. He did 28 back-to-back liver cleanses. And he was feeling so good, he went back in and all of his cancer was gone. And all he didn't even do the gut cleansing, didn't even do the parasite cleansing. All he did was just back-to-back liver cleanses. That was it. I've learned how important, we hear, do a liver cleanse, do all that, and it's just kind of like goes by us. But by looking at anecdotal evidence for over 20 years on gut health and cleansing, liver cleansing, parasite cleansing, and chemical and heavy metal cleansing, that's what's been since we figured this out 20-something years ago. Those are the main 4 things. Education is first. We talked about that, but then cleansing. And by the way, every natural health coach or practitioner should be doing detox and cleansing. This is aside from all the herbs you're going to have your patient on. You're going to test them, what they need, any deficiencies. By the way, in my opinion, all deficiencies are caused by toxicities. Okay? That's my opinion. That's what I've learned. The liver performs over 500 vital functions. They knew to take out your gut, and they knew to take out your liver and infest you with parasites and infest you with metals. You produce your hormones in your liver. Albumin, protein that keeps the fluids in the bloodstream from leaking into the surrounding tissues. Vitamins, enzymes, bile, regulates your amino acids in your blood, regulates your sex hormones, which we talked about, and when it's working, it breaks down the inorganic minerals that you might have in your body to prevent you from calcifying. Regulates blood clotting coagulants are created. Vitamin K. It can only be absorbed with the help of bile. Most people are not secreting enough bile or too much bile for that matter. As part of the filtering process, the liver removes unwanted bacteria from the bloodstream. It stores excess vitamins and minerals for when you need them. A, D, E, K, B12, as well as iron and copper. Dr. Janet was talking about the iron and copper. And it processes glucose. The liver removes excess glucose, sugar from the bloodstream, stores it as glycogen. If needed, it can be converted back and forth. Of course, everybody is over-consuming sugar and alcohol and gluten anyway. These are some of the things that we've been seeing: liver flukes, hepatitis, jaundice. Any symptom of any disease is associated with a toxic liver. Cancer, autoimmune disease. Your phase 1 and phase 2 detoxification pathways in your liver. Phase 1, activation of toxins. If the phase 1 of your liver's main job is to deactivate, or they call it, in the medical literature, it's activation, should be deactivation of toxins, and secreting enzymes to break down toxins. Cytochrome P450 enzymes are involved in the metabolism of harmful toxins, creates intermediate products to be released, and prepares any unbound or weird toxins for phase 2, which is your conjugation of the molecules. which is very important. Conjugation with molecules, which means broken pieces, like fragments. Different enzymes are used for that. They make the toxins water soluble. That you have your glutathione involved in that, allows for easy elimination through the urine or bile. And people are always asking me, well, aren't I going to be drinking all these toxins? They are conjugated already. They're not toxic at that point anymore. But we'll go into that in a little bit more detail too later on. Ensures toxins are safely processed before removal. This is all happens in your liver. How important is your liver? I mean, your liver is what's given to you by God to be able to break down and utilize all these things inside your body. And then your kidneys, of course. You have two kidneys right here on your back, right around here. You have your arteries and your veins and your ureter, and then your bladder, and then your urethra. Each minute, about a liter of blood, a fifth of the blood pumped to the heart, enters through the kidneys, through the renal arteries. After the blood is cleaned, it flows back into the body through the renal veins. But this is also really important to note that in our research, we found that the cleaner your liver is, the less work the kidneys have to do. We used to have a kidney cleanse too. We still do have a kidney cleanse, and I do recommend kidney cleansing. But what we found in our research is once you clean and heal the gut, once you do multiple liver cleanses, once you get rid of the parasites and the chemicals and heavy metals, the kidneys would automatically regenerate and come back into perfect health because there's nothing, everything else is working. You're not putting any of that stuff back into your system. Also, the kidneys regulate and make vitamin D, helps you control your blood pressure, red blood cell production. And by the way, most people that are suffering from high blood pressure, their liver is just extremely toxic, and it's harder for the blood to pump through the liver, which causes the heart to have to beat harder and faster. And controls the body chemistry by regulating the amount of salt and water and other chemicals moving around the body. Okay, body toxins from air. Sources of oxygen on the planet are depleting. They've been depleting for quite some time. They've been killing all the forests down. So we've gone from like 26% oxygen in the air to even 6% in some locations right now. Oxygen is what we really need. We need oxygen to survive. We need it for all of our metabolic processes. We take about 30,000 breaths every day. Air is extremely important to make sure that you're breathing clean air, especially in your home. Most people spend most of their time at work or at home. So it's very important to make sure that you're breathing clean air in your home and you're breathing clean air at your work. There are thousands upon thousands of chemicals and toxins that we've found in air. Even aerosolized bioweapons, chemicals, mold, mildew, pet dander. It's actually healthier to be outside than it is inside because the air it doesn't circulate. Dirty air-conditioned filters, the chemtrails, the volatile organic compounds. We've been at people's homes where it's just cleaning supplies, air fresheners in every room. I mean, just plastic carpets secreting VOCs. So very important to clean the air. Playing and crawling on a typical floor exposes babies to fumes from contaminants such as mold, mildew, and dust mites. 1 day of exposure introduces the equivalent of 4. Notice how I say chemical-based cigarettes to an infant's lung, because we've been doing research on tobacco for quite some time, and we've never found cases of tobacco in itself causing any lung issues or causing any cancer. It wasn't until the tobacco companies wanted to get people addicted. Believe it or not, Dr. Bryan Ardis taught me this with a research paper that was found from Harvard, that nicotine was never addictive. It was never an addictive substance. So they had to add pyrines or something? Pyrazines. They added pyrazines to spray the tobacco leaves with pyrazines to make it addictive. And there was a study done back in the early 2000s that analyzed a popular red and white cigarette brand and they found 630-something cancer-causing chemicals on the tobacco. 630-something. So tobacco is not bad for you. Tobacco is a natural plant. It's the chemical. Everything is the engineering with the chemicals and everything else that they're making bad for you. They're basically taking God's creation and creating man's toxic creation out of it. In the last 10 years, respiratory disease has gone from the 8th to the 3rd highest cause of death. Average bed in a home right now has anywhere between 100,000 to 10 million dust mites. 80% of the material you see floating in the sunbeam is actually human skin flakes, which is dust mite food. Indoor air may have toxic chemical concentrations of up to 100 times higher than outdoor air, and 50% of all illness, according to the American College of Allergies, is caused or aggravated by indoor air pollution. These geoengineering projects that have been going on for quite some time, even dating back to the Vietnam War, not only geoengineering, but weather modification as well. They're spraying barium, aluminum, different types of harmful radiation particles, synthetic bioweapons, pathogens, pesticides, all kinds of different substances that are being sprayed in the air. So how do you eliminate toxins from the air? You put a lot of live plants in your house and office. You take walks in nature, barefoot, ground to the earth. By the way, shoes were also engineered on purpose to unground you from the earth. Change your HEPA filters regularly, aromatherapy diffusers in your home, crystal salt lamps, really good HEPA filtration systems. The Triad Air is what I use. That used to be the old Alpine Air systems. There's portable units as well. Using natural cleaning products, natural paints. This might sound a little overwhelming, but it's just like even if you're making one small decision to do this, it's every day. Just think you're climbing up this ladder to health and longevity. And so just as long as you're making little changes, you're going up those stairs instead of down or standing still. So all of these, the water and the air are extremely important, as well as the detoxification, and slowly start replacing all of the chemical-based. Learn how to read labels, first of all. If you don't know what it's on the label, look it up. Be your own research. That's actually what we need. We need people to start doing their own research out there and asking the questions. And detox the bedroom and the bathroom. The bedroom and the bathroom are some of the most the kitchen, the bedroom, and the bathroom are some of the most toxic places in the home. You basically just have to look around and see, is this going to be good for me or is this going to be bad for me? And then just next time you have some money or whatever, maybe not buy that new car or those new shoes or whatever, and then allocate a little bit of money to protecting yourself and your family in your home and office. Now, foods, most of you guys know that food is one of, I would say, probably like the top 5 vectors of poisoning. You have, look what's happened in the last 10, 15, 20 years with the genetic modification of foods. You have the increased use of pesticides, herbicides, glyphosate, atrazine, which have something to do with the transgender. That's been proven to alter your hormones. Studies with frogs, etc. The rat study that Jeffrey Smith talks about, where they fed rats glyphosate, and within 3 generations they were extinct. They were completely wiped out in 3 generations. Soy, fermented soy, organic, not that bad. Most of the soy, though, is genetically modified. Endocrine disruptors, potentially, with the phytoestrogens. White flour, table salt, MSG, gluten. This is basically just common sense, but these are the things that are creating this disharmony within your body. The Bt toxin, that Actually, I just started linking that Bacillus thuringiensis toxin to what's going on with the bioweapons too. And I'm finding that was purposely put in us to be activated also and how it works with the spike glycoproteins. But make sure if you're eat organic, eat live, do the best that you can. GMO plants are requiring more and more pesticides and herbicides. Obviously, it's very harmful to the bees. It's harmful to the insects. This is just another vector that they're using as far as food. And then excitotoxins as well. And this is why you see, we've been talking about autism. The root cause of autism is everything that we're talking about here, starting with the injections that the kids get. All of these things are ruining the kids' bowels. Now, I worked with the American Autism Association and have had children that couldn't even speak one word that were 5 years old. We cleaned and healed their gut, cleaned their liver, cleaned all the parasites out of their body, and cleaned all the chemicals and heavy metals out of their body. And the children, and this specific child, spoke for the first time, really after we finished cleaning his bowel. And I only used Nikola Tesla's original bowel cleaning formula that he developed in 1898 with Dr. Eugene Bloss in a hotel room, because Tesla saw the future and said, the future, most disease is going to start in the gut. And before I die, I want to develop something that's going to help humanity in the future. God just blessed me enough to be part of the Tesla research team in the late 90s, like 1998. What are excitotoxins? Excitotoxins overstimulate the neuron receptors. That's the part of the brain that controls behaviors, emotions, sleep cycles, immunity, artificial sweeteners, food dyes, coloring. Everything that they color for kids, right? Like all the birthday cakes and the cookies, they all have all these rainbow colors on them. These are all excitotoxins for the kids, let alone all the high fructose corn syrup. These are all linked to MS, Alzheimer's, Parkinson's, depression, rash, ADD, autism. MSG is another one which is now labeled. They passed a law that they can label MSG as natural flavoring. Have you ever seen natural flavoring on your label? It's ridiculous. Like, our three-letter agencies just need to be abolished. They just need to be abolished. It's horrible. Look at this. This is what they're allowed to put on the label for MSG. Because when we raised awareness about MSG, this is their workaround. Okay, let's all meet again and let's fund all these lobbying agencies, and to see if we can name it something else. So these are now the approved naming of MSG on your label. Oh, hydrolyzed vegetable protein doesn't sound so good. It's vegetable protein. What about plant protein extract? That doesn't sound too bad. What about broth? What about natural flavoring, seasoning, spices, enzymes, soy protein concentrate? These are just some of the things that you can, so you don't have to say MSG. Now, gluten. Oh my gosh, I've got 5 minutes left and I'm only like halfway through. All right, gluten. Why is gluten bad for you? Gluten is the protein, was genetically engineered, by the way, in wheat, barley, rye, some species of kamut. 80% of the people right now are turning out to be allergic or having inflammation. By the way, everything is an inflammatory condition. All these chemicals and toxins cause inflammation in the body. I can't tell you how many people that we've seen that have been suffering from so many things, and we just get them off gluten and dairy and sugar. Get off gluten, get off dairy, get off sugar. And within literally days, their symptoms start to reside. These are toxic. Over 250 symptoms associated with gluten. gastrointestinal distress, celiac, allergies, fatigue, joint pains, mood swings, unhappiness, skin issues, the list goes on and on. And the gluten, the high fructose corn syrup, and the alcohol, guess what they feed? They feed all the harmful organisms in your system. What are the hormone disrupting, endocrine disrupting chemicals? We've become an estrogen dominant society in most cases. This is because of the phthalates, the meds, the antidepressants, the toxic halogens, all of this stuff right here. Part of their plan is a depopulation agenda, and all this causes sterility. It causes sterility in males and females. When I was growing up, I had never seen a fertility clinic. As a matter of fact, I think I saw my first fertility clinic probably like 15, 20 years ago, and now there's a fertility clinic on every corner. But of course, no one's addressing the root cause of why people can't get pregnant. We used to just have people go through the whole cleansing process and then, balance out their schedule, balance out how much time they're spending with themselves and their relationships and with God and all that stuff, and balance all that out. Within like 2 or 3 months, they would get pregnant. So how do you eliminate toxins from food? You eat more raw foods, vegetables, raw nuts, seeds. Make sure everything's organic. It's very important to chew your food. I put 25 times, but really it's till it's a liquid. You chew your food till it's a liquid before you swallow it. That helps out tremendously with your energy needed to break it down, as well as the absorption and utilization. Get rid of the microwave. Avoid any GMOs, table salt, refined sugars, anything made by man. Avoid all processed, boxed, canned foods. I get it. Every now and then, you're going to be in a situation, but just try to live by the 80-20 rule. Definitely avoid the MSG, excitotoxins, food dyes. Grow your own garden if you can. I tell you what, in the coming months, years, food can be a very valuable asset to barter with if you need to. And really cut down on the amount of food that you're eating. Now, you don't really need to eat breakfast. I always recommend, if you're going to have a breakfast meal, eat fruit. That's the perfect food for you after a long night of sleep. Hopefully you get good sleep, because your body pushes all that stuff to be released from the body, because your body's in a parasympathetic relaxed state when you're sleeping at night, and so that's when it goes to work and regenerates and detoxifies and everything. So what's going to be the best thing to help eliminate that stuff from your system in the morning? Fresh fruit. Usually I recommend like one fruit today, one fruit the next day, one fruit the next day, like if you were in nature picking it. Because fruit has water, which helps flush everything out. It has living fiber, which helps the bowel and the peristalsis. It has the organic nutrients and vitamins and minerals in it. So it's the perfect food to help flush everything out first thing in the morning. And then beverages, colas, juices. We were never deficient of colas. We were never deficient of energy drinks, any of this stuff. Coffee, alcohol, tea, milk. Coffee, I drink coffee from time to time. I drink acid-free, certified organic, no pesticides, no insecticides, stuff like that. Anything in moderation is what I'm saying, is not going to harm you all the time. It's when you're drinking like coffee all day long every single day, or anything all day long every single day. Our body really wants us to experiment and to change and to put different things inside of our system. All right, 8. Oh my gosh, I'm over already. Okay, I'm going to run through this. How to eliminate toxins from beverages. Reduce your toxic beverages. Drink distilled water, hemp milk, organic hemp milk, almond milk, coconut milk, fresh vegetable juice. And then worms. 4 out of 5 people have worms in their body and don't even know it. I'm going to talk about this more in depth tomorrow, so I can run through this. But this is mycoplasm, synthetically engineered germs, microbes, parasites, tapeworms. how to detoxify that, and then other body toxins, fear, anger, depression, anxiety, stress. What do we do about those? How do we handle those? Most of that is actually caused by the environment that you're putting yourself in. So you have to recognize how to eliminate those things and switch those to hope, excitement, happiness, doing fun things. We used to ask people that were sick, what do you do for fun? You'd be amazed at how many people just break down and start crying. They don't even know how to answer that question. And we would say, well, then what makes you happy? And they don't even know how to answer that either. So you have to find those things. Health equals self-confidence, which equals success. I'm going to talk about the electromagnetic radiation in detail tomorrow, how they're using it, how you can protect yourself against it. I'm going to talk about the heavy metals in the body tomorrow too that we're all being infested with, some of the ways that we've found to eliminate heavy metals from the system. We're trying to make it simple and as easy as possible. There's hundreds of ways to do this, but what we're trying to do is not overwhelm everybody. And then block neurological feedback, chiropractic, massage, chi machine, doing things for the outside of your body that can help you out. Yoga, Pilates, etc. How to reactivate your self-healing mechanism. Clean, education, detoxify, supplementation, healthy eating, and opening back up your elimination routes. Elimination routes, you respirate stuff out, you sweat stuff out, you defecate stuff out, you urinate stuff out, but that's not toxic. And women have their menstrual cycle. Come on in. Come on in. I'm like trying to fit it all in. So simplicity equals decisions.
Everybody, give it up for Ed Group.
Just know everybody's going to get the entire presentation tonight.
Yeah. Oh, and by the way, everybody's going to get the entire presentation tonight. And since we're talking about really good organic food, you want to pitch it? Oh yeah, go ahead, pitch it.
You did all this and then you go steal. All right, folks. If you haven't been over to the Global Healing booth in the far right corner with that beautiful screen and everything and all those great people, make sure you go over there. I would like some people to come up who would like to try organic, vegan, protein powder from Global Healing with a little bit of mushrooms, the mushroom blend that you did with David.
The chocolate one is the 7 mushroom blend with the chocolate protein powder, and the vanilla is the super greens.
The super greens.
Which, by the way, those super greens are grown indoors with the gemotherapy. There's multiple different blends of sprouts in there. They're picked with the seed, and then they're immediately taken to the freeze dryer. They're freeze dried, so they're raw, they're fresh, they're super high energy. You can see the Curlian photography.
There are samples
that we have.
Come on,
Samples.
I love the bottle. This is so nice.
I know, it's really cool, huh?
Just go ahead and grab it. Take your luck. Oh, get it out.
That's pure energy right there. That's vibration.
We have way more out there too.
And we have way more outside if you guys want. And by the way, we're going to be having a really good organic lunch served
Oh, yum.
as well.
Oh, it tastes fresh.
Ely doesn't even need
So,
a mic.
if you didn't get one and you want one, there's a bunch of them in the corner. Let's do the right thing. These are free. Give it up for Dr. Ed Group and Global Healing.
Give it up for all of you that are here and everybody that's watching live stream that are making the decision today. All health in your life can change. It's only one decision away.
That's right. And then, folks, I mean this, right? Are we a family or are we not a family? Yes, okay. They put all this love into making this medicine for you today. Make sure you put it in your body to say thank you. Can I get an amen? Amen. Let's clear that whole bit of gifts out, all that protein powder today. Agreed? Yeah. Wait, no. Agreed? There we go.
Okay, let's get to some questions.
We also have want to make mention that there are people virtually watching who can submit your questions. We're going to take a few of those too also.
Yeah.
Please send them. We're very excited to have you part of it.
So I'm going to start us off with one for the Euro Man.
Yes.
And I've been crowdsourcing questions this whole time. This is one that I get every single day, and I don't know how to answer yet. Is there anyone that urotherapy is contraindicated for, like i.e. transplant recipients or someone that's in organ failure?
So the answer to that with a broad spectrum without knowing too much details is we have not, that's a question that I've also been asking. Most of the famous or the urine therapists that have the most experience are in India because it's very common in actually not only India but many parts of the world except for the US. They've been using this therapy for over 5,000 years. And the answer that I'm getting to that question is no, there are no contraindications to doing that. Because you can also put it on your skin, you can put it in your belly button, you can do enemas with it, and the only contraindication I would say is if somebody's on heavy pain medications or opiates. Even though we haven't been able to find anybody that's died doing it, that's kind of just like a recommendation that if they are on any type of morphine or any type really hardcore drugs like that, to not do it. But usually the goal is to get people off of all that stuff anyway. So just doing it even a drop, or you can even make a homeopathic formula out of your own urine as well. And that can be used in different stages until the person gets to that point. If I would have known that I would be up here right now or in 2021 talking about urine. 2023. No, but I talked about it in 2021.
Oh, I got you.
So I presented it at Truth About Cancer in 2021. And I'll tell you the reason why. Because it's on a deeper level of raising your vibration and helping you heal. It's not a magic bullet. I don't want people to think that that's the only thing they need to do. What we talk about here today, you still need to have a good doctor to work with. You need to be evaluated. You need to be educated. You need to detoxify. You can't so let's say the urine is neutralizing 50% of the poisons you're putting in your body every day. And you're just going, I'm just going to drink my own urine every day, but I'm still putting, 100,000 chemicals and toxins in my body. You're just going to get a balance out of nothing. You know what I mean? You have to address the root cause. And that's what we're really here to empower people to understand that you do have the power. We all have the power to heal. It's just we got to stop poisoning ourselves.
Thank you, and I just want to say God bless you all for putting this phenomenal conference on. I'm hearing all the feedback online, and we're just loving it.
Amen. All right. Thank you.
Hello. Thank you for being here. And so my son when he was 2, stopped bedwetting. We went to Disney. At the very last day, he starts bedwetting. And now he's almost 10. And I've done many different things. Anyone have a thought? I've done energy work. I don't know.
I got a thought.
Sure.
Who washes the sheets?
Who's washing it?
Who's washing the sheets?
I am.
That's the problem.
Okay.
No, I'm serious.
Okay.
No, I'm not.
Nope,
it sounds funny, right? But no, I'm
Nope.
being serious. I had a patient when I used to take patients. Everybody, you'll know why I don't take patients anymore, and I only take students in my lecture. But when I was taking patients, she came in and she was just frazzled about this bedwetting thing, right? Now, it just so happened that her and her husband were at odds and the child needed some attention, and this is the only way he could get it. So he'd wet the bed intentionally at night, and then mom would come in and stay up for 2 hours cleaning the sheets and everything, and he would go and lay down in her bed. And so I said, okay, well, let's try something different. Let's go ahead and make him wash the sheets when he wets his bed and dry the sheets and stay up all night. And let's see how often and how long that continues. It stopped after the first night.
He does wash his own, actually.
Well, good. At night, does he wash it?
No.
Yes,
he gets up in the middle.
I'm just going to throw it out there.
Yep.
I'm going to tell you what I would do.
Yep.
Okay, I'm not telling you what
Yep.
to do. Make him wash his sheets at night. See how much he likes being up instead of putting you to work, and see what happens. And that way you'll tell whether it's actually a behavioral issue or if there is a metabolic issue going on. You have to distinguish between the two.
Okay, thank you.
Also, we've noticed that memory foam mattresses have been linked to sudden infant death syndrome. So you want to make sure that you're sleeping on an organic mattress, organic sheets, organic pillows. You know, everything in the bedroom is completely organic, and there's no toxicity anywhere.
Yep, I diffuse every night. I have the lamp. He licks the lamp every night. I do organic sheets. I don't have an organic mattress, but I have the EMF protection on it as well, as best it's going to work. So.
Let me ask
Gut,
you a question.
liver, parasites.
Okay. Now, one more question for you.
Yes.
Because you are driving yourself crazy with this. You can
Well,
see
I
it.
just want him to have sleepovers. He doesn't want them.
Okay.
Right?
All right. He's missing
Yes.
out on some things.
Yes.
Okay. So, when's the last heart-to-heart you've had with them and just hugging them and holding them while you're talking to them?
Oh, I do.
Every time, right? Try a heart-to-heart on that conversation, see what he thinks about what this is and everything, and see
He
what
doesn't
comes
like
up.
to talk about it.
Well, that's what,
Yes.
those are the things we have to talk about, are the things we don't like to talk about.
Right.
Especially when it's a mama and her baby. Can I get an amen, everybody? That's right. Okay? So sometimes you got to press that conversation, mama.
Remember what Ed Group said the first process of healing was? You ask them, what do you think's causing your problem? I don't want to talk about it. Great, well then I'm going to stop cleaning your sheets and you go sleep somewhere else until you want to talk about it.
Dads come in handy sometimes. Yeah.
I know it's a very
Thank you.
hard thing, and from a practitioner standpoint, it's one of the hardest things for us to fix.
Thank you.
And it's usually not,
It's usually emotional.
it's usually emotional, and they have to get it out what it is.
Do this for us, though, because we are going to have the October 5th, right? What's your name?
Darcy.
First name.
Darcy.
Darcy.
Yes.
Make sure you're at the October 5th thing. Let's try the conversation and some of the emotional stuff first. And then if that's not working, come back and bring that to us again on October 5th, and we will talk about that specifically, about metabolically what it might be.
Okay.
Okay.
Thank you.
And now I'm going to set the stage here. There's like 12 people in that row. I got 15 minutes before we break our fast. Anybody look at the actual agenda and go, why'd they call it breakfast at 1:30? Because we didn't give you breakfast, so you're about to break your fast at lunch. All right, so anyway, I want to make sure we get through these, so let's make sure we can ask the questions in a minute, and we'll try to answer those in a 30-second. Yep.
Immense gratitude again, lots of information. So I have 3 questions and it's interrelated. Is it even one? Can you please speak more on the biofield energy in relation to quantum morphogenetic field, body resonance?
In relation to what?
In relation to quantum morphogenetic field, because you emphasize about the bioenergy field, but there's a greater morphogenetic field. And actually, in that relationship, you also emphasize about vibrational frequency. What happens to the oscillation frequency? Because the vibrational frequency is source negative. So, and then, thank you.
I'll just make it real fast and gentle. So science only looks at the physical components of the body and not the energetic or the quantum levels of the body. So we have what really holds the DNA or the chromosomes or what gives the signals. It's all energy and vibration. And so what we need to, but there's no research. There's not a lot of research in that because that's suppressed. Like the good stuff that they need to tell us is the stuff they suppress, or they say it's woo-woo, or they say it's metaphysical, or they scare us off saying it's not religious or anything like that. Your code has a quantum energetic signature to it that's unique to you, and it also has a physical component. What they see is the physical component. They don't see the quantum energetic component of each individual person's unique signature.
Thank you. However, you said electromagnetic frequencies.
So you can classify the biofield like a torus energy field around the body, and so that can be determined and defined in multiple different ways as quantum energy, which is just unseen energy fields, or can be defined as an electromagnetic being. And who knows what you would define it as now, considering all the bombardment of, all these different frequencies. So that's an issue. That's actually the main issue that I'm going to be talking about tomorrow.
Thank you.
There we go. Good question.
So we're going to take one from the virtual audience, and it's actually in relationship to babies. So if a baby's had COVID and has a long-standing cough ever since then, how do you approach children as opposed to adults?
Well, generally, I don't think my mic's on. Can everybody hear me? Probably not. Oh, there we are. Generally, I would say if the baby's nursing, that's going to be the best thing for the baby is for the mom to make sure her health is really good and to nurse the baby and nurse the baby often. Also, naturals and topical and herbs are really great for babies too, and to keep them away from, like we said, a lot of the toxins. Go ahead. What's your question?
I love you, Dr. Ardis, first of all. And he introduced me to Dr. Group because I'm doing a protocol to heal my thyroid, which Dr. Ardis put me on, and I'm using Dr. Group's vitamins. And now I got 2 more. Okay, so my question is there a natural way to heal hepatitis C?
There's a natural way to heal everything. There's a natural way to heal everything. Now, sometimes we go through these conditions because it's part of our destiny as a learning experience. This is what we've all learned. Like, you might have 100 people come in with high blood pressure, and you do the same program, and you get 80% of them better. But there's always there's a zone, like a 15% or a 20% zone of. Sometimes people need to go through this for a life learning lesson, and it's just not it's not that time for them to heal. And you interviewing cancer patients, you can talk to cancer patient survivors that have said, you know what, this cancer was the best thing that ever happened to me. This is what's happening in the world right now. We're going through this great awakening process, and in order to go through, for most people, there's 3 levels right now. There's the people that will never wake up. They're on the bottom level, the ones that watch CNN all day long.
Yes.
And then there's the middle level, which there's some people down here that will wake up, but pretty much they're completely in the system, in the matrix. Then there's the middle section, and then there's the awakened people, like the people here. Okay, so in order to and this is just with history the way it goes, in order to really transform somebody, or to wake somebody up out of the matrix, they have to go through lots of pain, lots of trauma, and lots of suffering. Okay, I've interviewed people that have been addicted to drugs and addicted to alcohol for years, spent $250,000 and been to rehab centers, then all of a sudden they're clean for 10 years. I want to know, what did you do? Tell me, teach me. And every single one of them says, I lost everything. I lost my wife. I lost my kids. I lost my job. I hit rock bottom. I went through the most pain, the most suffering, and the most trauma that I've ever gone through. And then it clicked. God came in and something clicked. And from that point forward, I became awake. And so we talk about all this disease being caused and all this stuff being manipulated, but there is also a factor, a learning factor. It's a God thing of and that means you haven't been paying close enough attention to yourself, your spiritual relationships, your physical relationships, and sometimes it's meant for you to go through that to learn along that process. Learn through that process.
Can I throw one more thing out there for you, hon?
Yeah.
Which organ is impacted by
It's
hepatitis C?
It's the liver.
So now you know where to start.
Well, it's not for me. It's for somebody that
I know
love.
exactly what it's for. But
Yeah.
what I'm saying to you is, once you get the organ, now the pharmacopoeia, the natural pharmacopoeia opens up, right? So liver detoxification, liver regeneration. The nice thing about the liver, the beautiful thing about the liver, the only agreed upon organ that will self-regenerate. If you cut out half of the organ, it will grow back. All right? That's how
Excellent
powerful
point.
your liver is.
Thank you.
Okay? Thank you.
I just have a comment for our virtual audience. We've seen a lot of great questions coming in, and most of this stuff is going to be covered tomorrow in depth. Also, we will be taking note of all the questions that we receive, and we'll get some responses out, plus there's a lot of great follow-up. So I'm going to go ahead and go forward with this line because we got some great stuff and great stories there.
Okay, hit it.
Okay, kind of tall guy. First of all, thank you, Dr. Ardis, for inviting me and my wife, Silk, down here. And
Thank you for coming.
I just want to say that this event and what you guys are doing, it's a godsend. I mean, in this time that we're living in right now. And so I'm just going to go ahead and shoot my question out there. Farming is very popular in North Carolina, where we're from. And a lot of the farmers in my area, they have to compete with farmers on the outside of the United States in producing food, as well as food processing companies, because they use bioengineered, foods with bioengineered chemicals. And my question is, what would a wholesome natural diet consist of for a person seeking to remove foods that contain bioengineered chemicals?
Give it to him, group.
Eat organic and start growing your own food. I mean, the easiest thing that you can do is to step to organic foods.
Yep.
Now, granted, they're still not up to the standards that we'd like them to be up to, but that's one of the first things you can do. And
in my presentation this afternoon, I'm going to tell you which foods to start with, actually, to move towards organic. Absolutely. And the reason why. And we'll show that too.
Can I ask a clarifying question real quick? So are you asking, like, if you get a bioengineered food, can you make it non-bioengineered?
No.
Okay, good. Okay.
I'm basically referring to like foods that we can turn to that are not saturated with bioengineered chemicals.
One of the things that we're all working on, a project for that we're going to follow up with afterwards, and all of us are working on this, and the Energetic Health is working on this. We've already broken ground on this. Is contacting farmers and regenerative agriculture places all around the country. We're going to have our own webpage. It's going to be on Healing for the Ages, of companies and places that we trust. Wow. The number one rule for the meat is going to be straight up. Do you agree? No mRNA, none of these damn shots in the meat. You cannot, we will not endorse you if you do that, right? So we've already identified about 20 farms all around the country that say, no, there's not a chance that we're doing that. You're going to start seeing us. We're going to interview them. Dr. Ardis will have them on his show. I'll have them on my show. We're going to bring them to you. We also are going to make sure you have the list from the Organic Consumers Association on their complete regenerative map of where there are farmers markets and where there are farms that you can order directly, because one of the habits we are going to have to get into, if you're not growing your own food, and that's fine, okay? We want to support the people who already have built the infrastructure. Let's keep them in business, right?
I was going to say, find your local farmers market and get to know your farmers. I mean,
On our website, we're going to be listing directories for all of these in every state, actually. We've already started compiling those, just so you know. Now, I'd like to ask you something.
What's up?
All right, this is John. He's the one that holds Silk together, you know, of Diamond and Silk. This is her husband. Okay, he's in our house last night, and he's showing me pictures of watermelons he's growing on his own property.
They're amazing.
And his own tomatoes and tomato salads that they're growing there. I want you to tell the audiences what you were telling me last night, showing me your beautiful food that you've been growing, what the experience was for you to grow it, but then to taste it compared to what you're used to eating your whole life.
Well, we've basically been growing a lot of microgreens as well as some vegetables in our garden. And compared to what I get from our local supermarket, the taste is much more vibrant and flavorful. And I mean, and then the growing experience in and of itself and being associated with getting out and getting my hands in the dirt and growing things. I mean, I think it was a health benefit for me as well. And I gotta say, Dr. Ardis, I'm gonna throw it back at you. Since you've been coming on my wife's show and giving advice about different things, it has literally improved our lives. I mean, my vitality, stamina, energy level, everything has improved because I've applied some of the things that you've recommended. And I thank you for that, man. I really do. Thank you.
And I want to say this. Is there really anybody more busy than Silk probably in the last several years? And if they are taking the action to do that, I want to hear one damn excuse any of you got why you can't do it. Give it to me.
I got one follow-up question, though.
Yes, sir.
Where's that watermelon you promised us?
Oh, Come on down to North Carolina. I got something for you.
So I just want to applaud you two for taking that stand and making those
Thank
adjustments
you.
in your life. This is
Thank
an
you.
example of actually taking action. Thank you, John, for coming.
Yep, absolutely.
Hi. First of all, thank you for sharing this important information for us and helping from your heart. Dr. Group, you said we all need to get together now. My question is, I think in this room, like-minded people here, and my question is, because I am the black sheep in my family and my friends, I'm divided from them, especially in the past.
Hold up. Can anybody in this room relate to that? Give her some love. If you online, if you the black sheep, we want you here. We are nothing but black sheep. That's right.
So I just need some advice what to do.
Well, you're here. This is
You're here. Let's do it.
Yeah, but how can I share the information, or how can I turn my husband to my side?
You don't want to hear my answer.
Hold on. Can I answer something real quick? Somebody walked up to me at the last break and said, this is the first event of this kind I've ever been to, and it's because my friend dragged me here. And this is what I said. Did you say she drugged you? She said, no, she dragged me here. All right, okay. Seriously, if a little kid of yours was going to walk out in the street, would you beg them to look both ways if they started walking out there? Or would you grab them and pull them back if they were ignoring you? Thank you. How much do you love your husband?
That's right. Drag it.
I'd drag his butt in here.
Believe me, I tried everything.
Try harder.
Keep trying. It's important to you. It'll be important to him eventually. All right, go ahead, Bert. News for you.
Well, I mean, that's the hardest challenge, I think. That's why we're doing this right here. I mean, we're trying to like shake and wake people up, but some people need to go, the only way they're going to wake up is through pain and trauma and suffering. You do the best that you can, and you're there to support everybody, and you're there to try to give them the information, but ultimately, that's what the message we're trying to get is that all healing of the body, mind, and soul starts from within. Everybody here has felt that in some way or another, and that's why you're here. And we believe that most of you will be the healers that are needed out there. Even one piece of information, the energy is out into the universe. So if the people don't want to listen, they're just not ready yet.
Keep up the good work.
But we can try.
You'll
Just keep
influence
trying.
the people around you. Yeah, keep it
And
up.
say this with us. Hey, love, don't go anywhere just yet. Say this with us. The greatest energy always prevails. Say it with me. The greatest energy always prevails. Is your love greater than his resistance?
Yes.
Then you'll prevail.
And remember, and remember, supposedly most of us profess that
Oh, wait,
God...
hold up. Dr. Ardis isn't done.
Hold
Go
up.
ahead. You ain't out of here yet. We teach you.
And I mean truly, we all profess, most of us in here, that God is all-knowing and the most powerful being on this earth. Remember, I said up here, we don't heal people, especially if you want an instant change. So start praying that he'll wake him up. Or maybe give him the suffering he needs to be waking up. It's unfortunate, but it's usually when they hit rock bottom, when they are needing someone else's help, and then they're ready for you to take them with you, unfortunately.
Okay.
And we think we can all attest to this whenever we've had a mom bring their son into our office and says, I want you to heal him, or brought their significant other into our office with any type of disease and said, I want you to heal him. It doesn't work. You have to understand, and that's when the education component comes in, and you say, are you here because you want to be here, or are you here because they want you here? A lot of times we want to do that for people because that's the kindness of our heart. We want to help people, but they need to be the ones that are ready for the healing process because they're not going to take it in and accept it, you know. That's when you look at the natural medicine, you see the 10 or 15% of the people that don't get better, it's usually because somebody else dragged them in there, or somebody else said, you need to go do that, or you need to go do that, and it wasn't from their own free will.
And I would like to ask a question of the audience. Ready? Or for the audience. Have any of you sat in schools to get an education and a degree? Yeah, all of you? Okay, so when you left school, how much of the knowledge you carry now came from school compared to what you own now? And then I want to ask you, where did you get the rest of that knowledge?
Experience, baby.
Experience.
Ain't no
Experience, and what else?
Independent research.
Your own research. We seriously love learning, and we do not believe everything that is told to us.
Lifelong
That's
students.
true.
Oh, really? Is that true? Let me go look it up.
Yeah.
That's just how we are.
Show me.
For some reason, there's a major percentage of people that believe because we have degrees, we learned it all in a school. And then someone walked up here earlier and went, what school should I start with? Have you seen the internet?
It's fast.
Have you seen how much information is on the internet? Have you seen books? Go open them. There's even this place called Half Price Books, and they have a whole section of health and personal improvement. Go read them. We do not need to rely on everybody else to tell us how to improve our lives.
Amen.
Or how can we learn.
Amen.
We're trying to tell you. Listen, there is right now on social media and mainstream, all through mainstream media right now, there is talks of this blockbuster drug for weight loss and diabetes called Ozempic and Wegovy. Raise your hand. I'm telling you, the majority of people overweight in this country and diabetics are injecting themselves with a once-a-week drug that came out 5 years ago, approved by the FDA. Did you see last month that CNN, I'd never even heard of this drug. They make up words, Ozempic and Wegovy. Really? Come on. All right. They just make this crap up. All right, so they inject it once a week into their bodies. Did you see CNN, July 25th, published an article titled, Blockbuster Weight Loss Drugs and Diabetics Drugs is Resulting in Paralyzed Stomachs. And the report is out of Hollywood celebrities and then lay people. They showcase 4 people from around America who have been using the drug for a year. And then they stopped the drug because of cyclic vomiting that ruined their lives, their ability to work and do anything at home. The symptom of cyclic vomiting all day long is lasting for 1.5 to 2 years after they stop the drug. This drug I had never heard of in my life. I did not call Dr. Group or Dr. Schmidt or Dr. Oz or Dr. Ely or Dr. Phil to find out why the hell is that happening. Guess what I did? Ozempic, what in the world is that? I've never even heard this word. And on the internet, I went like this, Google, what type of drug is Ozempic? Not a joke, this is 3 weeks ago. What type of drug is Ozempic? And in the Google summary, little first article, it says, Ozempic is a GLP-1 drug. Any of you out there, can you tell me what GLP stands for? Holy crap, I didn't know. Dr. Ardis had no idea. And I went just like this. Copy, cursor, paste. What is GLP-1 drug? Imagine my shock of what comes up first. You guys all think we're geniuses up here. We just ask questions.
We ask a lot of questions.
GLP-1 drugs, the next article reads, all drugs that are GLP-1 drugs are derived from the venom of the Gila monster or Gila monster in the southwestern deserts of the United States.
Listen to that crowd.
And this venom drug from a Gila monster, I'll go ahead and make fun of me for mispronouncing it. I'm going to call it Gila monster, G-I-L-A venom from a monster lizard in the desert. It has a black box warning when I went to drugs.com, Ozempic, black box. Anybody uses this drug for a year, you increase your risk for every single thyroid cancer to develop. Acute kidney failure, chronic kidney failure, liver failure, all are actually diagnosed or proven side effects. The CNN article is reporting paralyzed stomachs for 1.5 to 2 years. And only because I copied and pasted 2 questions on the internet, I learned that the venom of the Gila monster paralyzes your vagal nerve that allows your stomach to empty its food into your small intestine. Venom stays in the human body, published by the NIH, even after treating a snake bite for 10 years. They bind to these receptors called GLP-1 receptors in the vagal nerve. Now your stomach sits there and cannot release the food into your small intestine. So you eat your breakfast, it sits there. You come lunchtime, you're still not hungry. Why? All the food's sitting in your damn stomach. Come lunchtime, you know you're supposed to eat. Everybody at work's going to eat lunch. I guess I better eat something and drink something. You drink water or whatever you're drinking, you swallow the next food. It's stacking on top of the food, not emptying out of your stomach. Now it's going up inside of your esophagus. What do you think God designed your body to do when it's full of crap in your stomach and it ain't going down? Where do you think it's going to go? Oh my God, Ely knows it. Do you have to look it up?
I did, actually.
Do you need the internet to figure this out? It's going to come up. You have that venom tied to that nerve for 1.5 to 2 years later. These people are struggling and their lives are being ruined by the action of that drug. And so many FDA-approved drug, by the way, they never told you it was venom. I didn't know it was venom. I looked it up. What kind of drug is this? Oh, it's a GLP-1 drug. What the hell does GLP-1 drug mean? Never heard that in my life. Holy crap, it comes from the venom of a lizard. I want to ask you, all of you at home, how many of you are convinced that you or your loved ones are overweight and diabetic because you have a Gila monster venom deficiency? And oh my God, God forgot to put enough of that damn Gila monster's venom in your body and you ran out, now you're fat and overweight and you're diabetic. So now you need to inject that venom inside your body every week, once a week. This is the insanity you live in. This is the deception you live in. Just because they called it Wegovy and Ozempic and said it was FDA approved, did I go, oh, it must be safe and effective. I don't know why these people's stomachs are being paralyzed and why they say they're going to develop cancer in their thyroid after a year. Really? Go look it up. I didn't know anything about this drug. It didn't even exist when I graduated school. How did I go on platforms like the Diamond and Silk Show the very next week? And we bring this up, and I'm educating the whole world about this drug. And then everybody's calling me, wanting on their shows to talk about, oh my God, it's another drug made by venom. I didn't even know it was made from venom. I guarantee you all the medical professionals are like this. Oh my God, is he going to quit with the venom already? I didn't know it was venom. I didn't even want to know it was venom. Anybody overweight, I'm going to tell you right now, anybody overweight and diabetic, y'all need to go to the deserts of Arizona and New Mexico and find these little ugly lizards and let it bite you. That's what they're telling you. Or you can pay medical doctors and pharmacists to give it to you in a little shot and you can inject it into yourself voluntarily.
It sounds ridiculous,
But I
doesn't
didn't
it?
see it on my prescription note from my pharmacist on all these side effects that it listed. It didn't say, have you ever been bit by a Gila monster before? Side effects may include. Oh my God, seriously, let it go. All right, we're going to go to lunch. This is an example of us learning. We just ask the questions and we want to teach you how to be researchers so you can learn for yourself.
One announcement. Hey, listen up, everybody. First of all, listen up. When you hear the music playing, that's your cue to come back in. We're about to get started. Can I get an amen? And now can we give it up for Dr. Ed Group? Oh, thank you. Everybody go eat. Do some deep breaths before you eat. Get in that parasympathetic state, and we'll see you back this afternoon. Thank you.